Let's continue the conversation as you heard a number of people saying there about the unfolding year, and issues are coming up already in the news. Some stumbled in from 2018, but a few are springing up on their own. So before we look at these issues in detail, we speak to those responsible for bringing you the news, for their opinion on how issues would unfold this year. With me in the studio to do just that is Jojo Kobna. He's an assistant editor here at JoyNews. He's producer of JoyNews Prime. Jojo, welcome.
Hello.
Right, and we also have Listo Kojo Fojo, who is the producer of Jason Sem, which is the morning show on Adom 106.3 FM. Fojo, it's great to have you here.
Thank you.
Right. So we'll go straight into these issues, and already we started a bit of this conversation. What are some of the issues, Fojo, beginning with you, that came up last year that you think have not been resolved, that you'd be expecting to see in the news this year?
Okay, thank you very much. And last year, matters regarding the free SHS, for instance, and issues regarding infrastructure, is something that is unresolved, and I think that going into this 2018, it will come up again. I believe that government failed to do what I called infrastructure audit, to have known that there were deficits in terms of infrastructure in some of the schools, so that government can put those measures in place before the implementation. But it looks as if government was in a hurry, to roll it out.
Our president himself said that he's in a hurry.
He said this year is going to be on supersonic speed. That is what he said. So I have no problem with the implementation, but I think that certain measures will have been put in place, for the rollout, so that we wouldn't encounter some of this problem that, but in this year, that 2018, it is going to come up again, because I believe
you think they did it in a hurry?
No, government was in a hurry with regards to the implementation. They should have taken their time.
Okay.
I believe that they should have been, well, they might have done some stakeholder meeting, but I think that there should have been broader consultation, because when you talk to NAGRAT, you talk to NAT and other people, they thought that the consultation wasn't much. If you hear what education consultants, experts were saying, some even believe that government should have even, been somehow selective, like kind of scholarship to people, those from poor homes, instead of focusing on that mass kind of thing. So I believe that there should have been broader consultation, but now government has done it. So what we have to look at is the solution. We should put up more schools. Like yesterday I heard the Upper West Regional Director of Education that they need 134 classrooms, to solve this challenge. Now, I believe that I am for free SHS, because look, if you look at how our monies are being, wasted on certain things that are not necessary, and if government said, I want to put this money into education so that my nephew or niece somewhere will get free education, why not? But I believe that it should be done in a manner that at the end of the day, there wouldn't be any problem. So yes, they should channel more money into infrastructure, to schools, into classrooms, or let's say furniture, so that we wouldn't have the OSU headmaster issue where you go there and transferred because
of the issues he raised about free SHS.
Yeah, but I believe that some of the headmasters and headmistresses were not forthright with accurate information. Now, some of them wanted to do their own thing, like they live with those things, and now that government is coming out with this big policy, they thought that certain things were being taken away from them, and that they have to also try to show up that yes, they are also there. But government will always have its way. So I believe that it's an unresolved issue that will run into 2018, most especially when the number is going to increase, and now we are going to have they will move to SHS2.
So there will be two streams.
There will be two streams. You understand? So, and the number is going to be huge. The budget, I don't even know if government finished giving the budget allocated to the ministry.
I wanted to bring that issue to Jojo, because I'm just looking at the figures here, and last year for the 2017 budget, 400 million Ghana cedis was budgeted. for 2018, 1.2 billion Ghana cedis was budgeted. And apart from that, a voluntary fund was set up. Remember, this became quite an issue that if persons want to donate to government to support the free SHS policy, there's now a voluntary fund they can donate to ensure. And all these announcements were made by Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta in the reading of the 2018 budget, what they call the Ejuma budget. Jojo, do you think that looking at these things that government has said they will do, and we know that as for free SHS, the money they will have to spend it. Looking at these things, do you think Listerwell is onto something that these issues will come up again, or government seems to have it figured out?
You know, when the free SHS was rolled out, I mean, when we had talks about rolling out, we're just going to roll out in September and all that, I remember I was very happy. In fact, I am a very strong supporter of the free SHS. But my major worry was funding, and I was really thinking about how government was doing it. I remember back in Uganda, I lived in Uganda, worked in Uganda, and Uganda did free SHS. They call it Universal Secondary Education Use. They started that program 10 years ago. And it started with the same rush. President Museveni wanted to, be legitimacy that he's going to provide for the people, and so there was this populist thing. Let's quickly run with a free universal secondary education, and they ran with a program. 10 years after that, funding problems, the capitation they were sending to the schools very inadequate. There's a research that organization that I worked for. We did a lot of research in that. Now we have the Minister for Education in Uganda, Janet Museveni. That's the president's wife, appealing to people to feed their own children. Oh, well,
the president's wife is
the Minister for Education.
That's quite interesting. It can only happen in Africa.
So they were now appealing to parents to take care of the food. Well, we said we are going to provide food, but we now want you to take care of your children's food. So I was thinking of, there are components that parents can bear, and I feel that there are so many people who can also afford. And so the government should find a particular way, because I feel that funding is a major problem, and they have to find solutions to it. We can't just say that, okay, we're going to feed your child for free, we're going to clothe your child for free, you're just going to provide everything for free. There should be an element that the parents should take. Now Uganda is running back to that particular policy of making sure that they have the food. Parents take care of their own food. And that is one thing that I'm very worried about.
But you think the current approach that government is taking is a populist approach?
I feel it was populist. I felt that they wanted to, they have been promising free SHS for a very long time. It wasn't just this election. It was on the 2012 election. That was
actually 2008.
2008, yeah.
It was, yes.
I remember the Kufuor's interview on BBC when he came home. He was
that was 2012.
That was 2012.
Yeah,
okay.
But the announcement was made. I remember very well him speaking in
feature much.
Yes, he didn't feature that much. But I remember very well him speaking in Takoradi that they made basic schools free. They're going to make senior high schools free. And then 2012 became the main policy. But Jojo, go ahead with your
point. But my one other, apart from the free SHS, my major worry this year, looking at primary schools, looking at the JHS and the primary schools in rural communities, it's something that we have highlighted. The NDC came back and said, oh, we are going to eradicate schools and the trees. It's something that has not been done. If you look at the number of schools that we have on the trees, if you look at the quality of education at the lower level, it is worrying. And there's communities that there are some schools that can never perform so well that they can graduate to even enjoy free SHS. So we must fix that particular thing. It's an issue that government must fix. Before people come to enjoy free SHS, they must fix the basic level. And I feel very strongly about it.
A lot of educations feel strongly about the issue of free SHS. We have gone a lot deeper into this issue. But very quickly, from the two of you, I just want to hear one issue each of something that you feel is worth talking about in 2018. An issue that you think should come to the forefront of the newscape in 2018. Jojo, let me start from you.
Just before January, today, you remember last week the water Water Ministry came out and said, "Oh, prepaid meters. We're going to issue prepaid meters in January." It will be a very important issue that we should look at, because I feel I know that water is a serious right that we should not pay.
But you know, sometimes Ghanaians don't really take issues like this and give it as much attention. I mean, listen, you produce a morning show on radio. I mean, if we're talking about prepaid water metering and we open the phone lines for people to text in or call, is it the kind of issue that you find a lot of Ghanaians?
They will not. I mean, they will not. With the kind of people we engage on daily basis, some of the issues that engage their attention more could either be more political or health. You understand? You know, it is when the implementation is rolled out, then there's some teething problems. That is where, you know, when it hit them so hard, they begin to, you know, come back. You understand? But I think maybe we are also maybe just slanting a little, because we are not doing the agenda setting well.
Which is where I think Jojo is bringing it.
You know, the agenda, because I think that it's like a mother. Your child has closed from school. He comes to the house. There's food on the table. The child has no choice.
The child will eat it.
You eat. So you are the producer. You are the producer of the show. You cook the food. Okay, I want to talk about this. You understand the point? So you have to make sure that it becomes so sex up in a way that it will attract.
People would want to.
You know why I'm very worried about this particular issue? Because I remember South Africa introduced the same prepaid water
metering.
And the research came to show that, I mean, at that time, South Africa had serious problems with cholera, serious waterborne diseases, I mean, hitting them hard. So they went back to court. And then the Constitutional Court said the prepaid water system was unconstitutional.
Okay.
And they forced government at that time to provide free water. They said every day, 50 liters to all South Africans who cannot afford 50 liters. So they forced them to give them free water. And
every South African?
Every South African, that you are entitled to 50 liters of water.
At what time?
No, this issue was in 2010, 2011, thereabout. And it happens. It happens. Now people are even taking the case back so that they can even increase their allocations for free water. So I see water is very essential. In Ghana, sometimes we don't even have water. I have already paid for the water. Now, imagine me paying for the water that I'm not even getting. Imagine you taking, sometimes you have electricity and electricity goes off. Not because I was looking for power to buy for 3 days. I couldn't get power to buy.
Because mine was 5 days.
Because of network
Remember
problems.
what happened
imagine
in the 4 districts? In the Greater Accra region.
Yes.
So you were one of those policies, Joe.
Imagine. No, I wasn't in the district, but I'm somewhere around Teshi, and I was looking for network to buy prepaid. It took me a very long time to get a prepaid. Imagine we have a prepaid water system like that, and network goes off, and you cannot post-pay your the bills to enjoy water. I feel that government should really look at this, because it's going to. I can afford, but what about the very poor people that cannot pay? And that is my major worry. And so we should put a spotlight on this particular issue. People should know the dangers of providing post-paid metering system, because it will really affect.
But even the cost involved in rolling out means that you are going to change all the meters.
Yeah, they said they are provided about 80,000. They have already imported 80,000.
What I mean is that the point is that you are going to change the existing ones, and that is a cost. What about those that teach this desalination?
The desalination plan,
created problems there.
This is what I wanted to bring up.
Yes, how are they going to roll out that one? Because I believe that you are teaching, you are going through a lot with this kind of problem. It's saddled with huge debt.
You know, the Ghana Water Company makes a debt of 5 cedis for every liter of water that it sells, because it buys is for 6 cedis 50 pesos and it sells it for 1 cedi 50 pesos. So every liter that they sell, that they buy from the Teshi desalination plant, they make a loss of 5 cedis. But you know, listen, when Jojo was making this point about South Africa and the issue that came up there, I'm reminded of what happened with Adenta where getting to the 2016 election, the former government made the point that, oh, they have fixed their dental water.
That was a charade.
Okay. One thing I hate about, let me have a quick comment on that, then we move to the next point of it, because we do have to move on.
Yeah.
So you think that development issues, like
I feel that we should couch it.
water.
I feel that we should couch it very well.
Yeah.
I feel that we should set the issue up so well so the public will appreciate the issue.
Okay.
Because for now, people are like, okay, people are just on a chill. Now people are talking about TV lights and people are like, hey, we're not paying.
That is a big deal.
It's a big deal.
We
That is
don't
the
want
point.
to pay people. Okay.
Why should I pay? Because I have a television set in my house.
Exactly.
I have to pay for that. I don't want DTV. I want DSTV.
Well, I was
Fine. You do.
JoyNews is on DSTV.
Yes, you do.
But Landscaper is going to take about 50% of
14%
of the
we
money.
don't even know what they are going to use the 14% for. Anyway.
It's something that I think is going to be a matter from maybe,
another one to talk about.
Yeah.
But let me use what Jojo was talking about in terms of us setting the agenda. You're also talking about the fact that we must behave like people, mothers who are cooking food for their children. Listen, you are the producer of Just on 7, award-winning, one of the biggest morning shows we have in this country. When you were planning for 2018, what were some of the things that you were putting in there for listeners, your listeners to expect? You had Faber also, which was huge.
Yes, and I have Faber also Reloaded.
Wow.
Yeah, Reloaded, and it has a lot of things.
The more.
Exactly. You know, this year the NCCA demo that we did.
That
you know,
was huge.
Yoko has started retrieving some of the monies.
Yeah.
You know, and Faber also Reloaded because we had special prosecutor in mind.
Okay.
You know, and then the call for this fight against corruption. You understand that? The other time my host is even proposing anti-corruption squad. You know, because matters of corruption.
Or citizen police?
Kind of thing. You understand? So,
but it is allowed. Citizens arrest is allowed.
You know, so Faber also Reloaded 2018. We are going to go engage the public more to rally behind government in the fight against corruption, and we may be moving to communities. And let's say when we take the Auditor General's report and we look at this district, that this amount of money have been blown on unnecessary things, that they were supposed to put up this infrastructure, but the money has been spent on something else.
Yeah.
We move there. We will engage the people so that there will be more pressure on those whose responsibility is to ensure that those monies are used appropriately. You understand? So Faber also Reloaded this year is going to be more engaging, is going to be very tight, because we are really, really going to make a lot of noise. Wow. And we want to make sure that the special prosecutor, I heard yesterday, the president said, well, the only means by which we see government fighting corruption is when you prosecute politicians who are deemed to have.
Yeah.
You understand that? Exactly. And that is, but you know, in the public sector, when this civil servant
and the civil sector,
you know, when you take the Auditor General's report, most people who perpetrate some of this crime are these chief directors, accountants, but that does not mean that they don't collaborate some way, somehow with politicians. You know, so it's something that is.
So Faber was also coming to a town near you.
Yeah.
You heard it on News Desk. Yeah. Anyway, so I can't wait to hear that. Jojo, for you produce on the team of all the lead bulletins. In fact, our major bulletin in the evening. What is on your mind about 2018?
Okay, before I talk about that, let me just quickly touch on the corruption thing that he talked about. What's to expect 2018? You know, special prosecutor ready. You remember just yesterday, President Mahama was saying that, well, they said they are going to prosecute our people. Let's support them, and that's their
solidarity. Yeah, solidarity. That is what it is.
Solidarity. They are not guilty until proven guilty, and let's support them. So we should expect a lot of action. We should expect a lot of court cases, and then things happening in the court. and we should expect a lot of outcry. We should expect
demonstrations,
NDC supporters to say that they're being witch hunted. We should expect the MPP also excited and saying that yes, we need our money back. We should expect Ghanaians to also say that we need our money back. Yeah, so it's going to be a very eventful 2018 because the president indicated on Saturday that they are ready to prosecute,
public officials.
It will be very interesting for them to also focus their lenses on the civil service and also within the NPP too. Then that would make the special prosecutor office, very credible. But I doubt it. But I pray that happens.
Oh, you man of little feet. Okay, so let's talk about some of the work that you've done. I remember the Let's Be Fair campaign. That story, I'm sure you saw the story.
Yeah.
The story of the woman who was riding on a motorbike pregnant. She was moved into our car. I'm going to be opening an ambulance with but that was a great report. What are we going to see?
Yeah, we expect to see more stuff. We have a lot on the menu actually, where we'll be using our bulletins to actually set the agenda, because politicians set the agenda, the public will also set the agenda, social media will set the agenda, but we'll also make very deliberate efforts to tell the public what to think about, what to discuss. And so we have quite a number of social issues lined up where we will be drumming hard. And you should expect Let's Be Fair campaign hosting, having a photo exhibition at the forecourt of Parliament. We are bringing all the pictures that of rural communities. 56 schools in just Karachi and Chimuru and the trees. We expect about 48 schools in Pandai district. You should see the children in a very, very bad shape. Children is lying on the floor. And what was heartbreaking is that I went to one community where they had no school, like many communities, not just one. So an NGO had created this program called community-based education, where they go there to go and use an educated person to teach the children, to give them some form of education. So we will be bringing these issues out, we'll be setting the agenda, and we would have to force and lead government to end schools and the trees. It's something that the NDC promised and they couldn't fulfill, but the new government is not high on their agenda. We should arm twist them. We should force them to attempt some of these things.
Yeah, when they are putting all their money in fear, just
but there was this PIAC report on this. I think the revenue. It's about the oil
revenue.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
and there's, I think $1,000 was earmarked for a project at Doma. There's a place called Doma. And, monies have been paid, but there was no school. Yes. And it was part of our document we presented to Yoko.
Okay.
Yeah.
During the demonstration.
Yeah, we spoke to the assembly member, we spoke to the chief in the area. I said, yes, they're supposed to build this school, but there was no school. But the monies have been paid. To who? You understand?
Right.
Yeah, so it's interesting. But if we buy a V8 for a member of parliament, or let's say DC, or a minister, which costs several millions or thousands of cedis or dollars, that can put up classrooms to ease these schools and the trees, why do we continue to do that?
These are
at
very,
the comfort
very
of one
issues.
person, then like hundreds of distant children will be lying on the floor to study. Is that the case? Is that what we are fighting for?
Those are some very serious issues.
You remember our vice president, when he was campaigning, went to donate some desk, and he emotionally talked about how children were lying on the floor and he donated. I'm wondering why the donation has stopped.
I remember so well.
That's a question. I don't know who can answer this question.
It's very unfortunate. But anyway, we are continuing the conversation about what to expect from Joy News in the coming year, and we have been joined on the line by our documentaries and features editor Fifi Kumsin to give us a bird's eye view of what the station in the whole. We've been talking to Listowell and Jojo, who are producers on their own, but Fifi will be telling us as a station, Joy News Radio and TV, what we should expect. Fifi, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Daniel.
Happy New Year already. Now, what should viewers expect from Joy News in the coming year?
Whilst we begin the discussion around what to expect, let's also talk about what we've done so far in the year 2016. I think 2016 was a very beautiful year. It ended so well. We did the hotline documentary.
Well, Fifi, you mean 2017, Fifi?
Oh, I'm going back to... Okay, so in 2017, definitely we brought viewers and our listeners compelling content. We did the Cath, Konfuanochi Teaching Hospital special assignment. We were able to draw attention to the crisis situation there at Cath. And you remember the overwhelming feedback that we got, the First Lady coming in. We also brought viewers and our listeners the regular documentaries. We gave them compelling documentaries. We going into the hinterlands, giving the microphone to the ordinary man and woman to tell their stories. What affects the ordinary man also affects us. So we talked about these. Then we did the special assignments. Of course, that was what I mentioned earlier. And then we did the regular news, and then the fact check by Raymond Aqua. Very exciting. We didn't take things on faith value. We went deeper to try to understand where these facts are coming from, verify them, know whether or not the facts being put out are true or false. So that is what the situation was in the year 2017. Now let's talk about 2018. I don't know why I keep going back to 2016, but 2018 is going to be more exciting. In fact, we are looking to having more knowledge building content. In fact, by the time you finish listening to the news or watching the news, we want you to leave even richer. We want you to leave having added some knowledge, and that's what we're going to do in 2018. So in 2018, we know that, of course, our special assignment initially was not supposed to go building hospitals. Right now, we have the MBU there at Cath almost done. That was not the main original idea for special assignment. But we had to do this because we needed to draw attention to a crisis situation happening right here in Kumasi. What we are going to do will be to do even more special assignments. And there's an explosive one coming in 2018, one that viewers would definitely want to watch. Then we also come to the regular documentaries, compelling documentaries. Our very best will be on the field, trudging through the bushes, going into the hinterlands, telling the stories of those who live in these areas. And of course, all the social issues that we need to bring to the attention of the authorities, we will be bringing to their attention. So that is when it comes to the hotline documentaries, the award-winning hotline documentaries. You remember in 2017, we won many, many awards through our documentaries, the Emmys Man of the Year, the CIMG Awards. We won one in some international awards, actually. You remember Justice Baidu's award there. by the Reuters Foundation. So we hope to do more because the feedback has been very positive. And once the feedback has been positive, all you can do is to strengthen the content, strengthen what you were doing, for which reason you got some of these awards. So we'll be doing a lot of these hotline documentaries, and then fact-checking. Yes, we are not going to take all the politicians who tell us hook, line, and sinker. We are going to definitely go beyond these narratives that bring viewers critical analysis of the issues, looking at the numbers, the figures, and then letting them know what is wrong, what is true, what is false, what was half true, and so on and so forth. Then we will definitely, when it comes to general news reporting, also enrich our content. Of course, we want to tell stories of the ordinary people. In fact, we want to take the microphone from the politician and give it to the ordinary man.
The ordinary man. Fifi, that is great to hear. One of the items, or should I say, on our news calendar that's really made a lot of impacts last year was JoyNews agenda. I remember the agenda on land acquisition that ended up with us hearing of a committee that had been formed at the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry. I remember the free SHS agenda brought up a lot of issues, brought up a lot of responses from the ministry. In JoyNews agenda, what do we want to achieve with this year, this 2018?
We want to, every week or every month, focus on one critical issue and then exploit thoroughly. We want to milk some of the issues dry. We don't just want to scratch the surface. We want results. That's why we brought JoyNews agenda, and we are going to do more of this. And there was one thing that I should have been telling you about. The investigations this year will be of a different kind. And I tell you, I'm not going to give you all the details. All I can say is viewers and listeners should watch out. We are going to bring you the best of programming as JoyNews this year, 2018. This year comes with lots of goodies for our viewers, and they will definitely leave excited. There's also a point about science and technology. We are going to strengthen our content when it comes to science and technology. In fact, we want to get as many innovations going on, happening right here in Ghana as possible to our viewers. We want Ghana to sell hot on the international market. So we are going to give our listeners and our viewers a lot of science and technology reporting, and they definitely would love to stay glued to their sets in 2018 because we have lots of goodies for them in the year.
And bringing us this gist of what we should expect from JoyNews Radio and TV this year. And have a great new year yourself.
Thank you very much, Daniel Dazi. I'll be joining you soon in Accra from the Love Studios here.
Right. So Fifi is in our Love Studios in Kumasi. Greetings to your lovely new wife, Fifi, I should say.
All right. She'll hear.
And our Fifi Kumsi, for those of you who follow Joy, myjoyonline.com, recently got married just a few weeks ago. Yeah, maybe 2018, I should make it a resolution of mine.
You should make it as a resolution already.
No, it's in my 5-year plan. It's my 5-year plan. Right, so gentlemen, let me take a few final comments from both of you before we take leave of the viewers.
Yeah. You know, what I would want government to do this year is to convert what I call free SHS forum, where it will declare a clear path for the implementation of free SHS, that there will be a stakeholder meeting, that there will be presentation of papers from both political divide, that there will be a defined path so that we wouldn't come back, you know, raising concerns about lapses in the implementation. And then we should also give maximum attention with what happened with the Ministry of Special Development Initiative, whatever.
Yeah.
It should also engage our attention to do proper scrutiny of the budget allocation to the, you know, there was one of Anko 2016 where there was a bloated you know, for Ministry of Roads and Highways.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
it seems to come up a lot of times.
Exactly, but we've not paid particular attention to it. I think this time around we should do. You know, just so some do hard hitting, you know, stories that focus on accountability and that. You see, so we always want to put our lenses there and make sure that the right things are done, so that at least those who are taking care of our peers will so do and do it well to the interest of our listeners or our public organizers.
Right. Thank you very much. Well said, Lister. Well said. Jojo, your final comments.
And what I expect us to do more is to blur the lines, news and advocacy, where we pick an issue and we run wild with it until something happens. We shouldn't just be seen as just reporting and then letting things go, but we should make it an advocacy. And Joy, we do that a lot. But I think that this year we have a lot of plans to make sure that when we pick an issue, we drum it hard and hard and hard until. So we should see a lot of Fifi say. So we should see a lot of advocacy, blurred lines, and that is where journalism is moving forward to. And so we should see a lot of people-centered stories. It is about the people, and so that is what you should expect. And there more. In the month of just next week, there should be a very compelling documentary that will blow the minds of people.
Okay.
The promo will be hitting the screens pretty soon.
Okay, we don't want to let the cat out of the bag too quickly, but thank you very much, Jojo Kobna and Listowell Kojo Fojo, for joining me in the studio here, bringing us what we should expect from the 2018 news here. So watching JoyNews Desk, I am Daniel Daze. We'll take a quick breather. Stay with us.